Hi, it's Red Snapper, and welcome to the Showgirl's Closet. Today, we are going to look at a couple of Manuge Toi-Inspired creations that I made after subscribing to her Patreon for about 5 years now, I think. In a previous episode, I showed some things that I purchased from her shop the very rare times it's been open. It is not open very often, and things sell out very quickly because she has commissions going, she is writing a book, and she doesn't have time to make as much burlesque performer standard pieces as she once did. But if you subscribe to her Patreon, then you can learn how to make things for yourself. This episode is not sponsored by Manuge Toi. I'm just a big fan, and I feel like it's worth you knowing if you are someone who creates costumes or does burlesque or wants some really nice, sexy quality pieces and you know how to sew. First, we'll take a look at my pasties, which are not as impressive, but they were the first ones that I did using some of her techniques. And then we'll take a look at a G-string that I made. All right, here are the illusion pasties. I came up with a quick and dirty pattern and have rhinestones come off of this. I've had to move rhinestones around on this. They're not as lovely as hers, but I believe that by this point she has special equipment built so that she can get the perfect shape with her pasties, because I mean she makes pasties all the time, and she has 3 different kinds. You can get Pasties if you are not endowed necessarily. You can get like standard pasties, and then you can get skyscraper pasties, which are Madonna bra pointy. So these are made with not the highest quality rhinestones. I used old cuts that I had left in my stock, but they look pretty good. And for as long as people are going to look at them on stage, they'll look good enough. They aren't built for tassels. The ones that I have from Manuge, I had built for tassels. So these are not spinners. I made these to go with one specific costume. And since I made them myself, I didn't have to think about, I'm investing in this high quality piece that I need to make sure is versatile because I'm spending X amount of dollars and I don't know when I would be able to get another pair of pasties like this. So they're workable. I'm happy with what I created the first time that I did them. You know, they look good, and they are the illusion pasties. So over the blue, you can see that they're sheer. You can see straight through them. So wearing these on stage, you'll see a little areola, but it's tucked away behind rhinestones. I can't say anything about what the bases are made from. It is a trade secret. I took her tutorial. I studied her tutorial that's on her Patreon that talks about the material that these are made from. I paid for the tutorial. I paid as a patron for the tutorial, and I pay an amount so that I have access to the library of lessons that she has. So I spent money to learn the trade secret. And she doesn't say everything explicitly, but I was able to figure out based on what she was saying, is it this? And I used the special adhesive for the special kind of base. Hers are still a little bit different from mine. Her bases are still a little different, so there's something else that she's doing in here that is not what I did. But they still look pretty good, and if I am doing unique pieces, like I used the example of a green leopard print costume. If I'm doing a green leopard print costume, I could make green leopard print illusion pasties using her technique that were workable and lovely, and I wouldn't have to gamble to wait for her shop to open. They wouldn't be as precise and beautiful, even though she teaches precision techniques. She's done this the way she does it for so long, it is in her bones, where doing that precision work is not in my bones with this sort of thing. But you can learn how to do this kind of thing and learn how to make a very sturdy pasty that you can use whatever your favorite adhesive is on the inside and clean it away. I use tape. So I can use tape inside of here, no big deal. If you are a medical adhesive person, you can use that. Or if you are not allergic to pine and use spirit gum, or you aren't allergic to latex and you use liquid latex, whatever you need to use, you should be able to use inside here. So there are my pasties. Now let's take a look at my panty. This is the panty that I made to go with my Waltz Across Texas act. Very simple embellishment here, and I used part of a necklace or an earring, something that had broke. Stitch that on here. I used her techniques to create this panty. She has a G-string tutorial. I think it's multiple parts, but you learn how to pattern something to fit your body, and you learn how to do these fancy strappy elastics so that you can use the width that you want for your body or for the act. You learn how to do nice harness rings, and I've got another ring in the back. I probably could have used a larger ring, but I didn't. This panty is not as clean and lovely as the work that she does, but boy howdy, it sure is done, and no one is going to look this close outside of you or anyone who picks these garments up or cleans them, which who's going to be picking my panties up off the floor? There is one person who will pick these panties off the floor that is not me. So I don't have to worry about everybody looking at every little bit of technique. And funny thing, with lingerie, you've got that weird bow sometimes on the front. They do that to hide this kind of messy stitching. Bra bows are used to hide the mess. So I could put a bow right here. But all of this is made to measure, my measurements. I followed her tutorial so that I could draft this pattern and it would sit nicely. And she gives you, like, here is a version of a G-string. You can sew along and make this G-string, right? So I did. I sewed along and I made this G-string. And it is very cute. I'm proud of the work that I did. This part was especially interesting to stitch the center so that, I mean, it has to be elasticized so it sticks to your body and it doesn't kind of hang out away from the body. And doing this just perfectly so that it sits nicely. I'm very proud of that work. Oh, I have one more G-string. Give me a minute. Okay, here is another G-string that I made. Oh, it's not a G-string. It's a regular old full back panty, kind of. What is this, a tanga panty? Anyway, I made this for my Daffodils act, which is a big fish tribute that I've done in Burton Burlesque here in Dallas a couple times. And I wanted something a bit more conservative because I'm portraying Mrs. Edward Bloom in this whole thing. And she had another really nice pattern that I was able to follow, but draft it to my measurements. So this has wider elastic. It's got this little strap stitched in here so that it can give my butt a nice little lift, and that links to the center. So I will show you these. I learned so much doing these tutorials so that I was comfortable making this kind of thing, and I could easily add more straps, and I don't have to follow her pattern, but I would follow the same techniques to draft my own panty for whatever I want to make. So let's take a look at them. All right, panty number one. Here it is. This will look a little weird over my pants because I've got, you know, some crotch space here on the pants. So it's not going to fit exactly the same as it would over my body. But this V right here, this is so nice because it is not, you know, folded out. It's right there against my body, which is nice. It's very cute. Very, very cute. I followed a technique that she uses so that there's a nice spacing on the side and both of these straps don't try to get right next to each other based on where everything is placed. So I followed that in the tutorial, which, I mean, everything will look a little different directly against skin or over fishnets as opposed to wearing it over blue ruched bottoms. I'm really pleased with the work. This was the first panty that I made using her techniques, and I believe I started that costume during the 2020 lockdown times. So it's nice. I like it. I really like it. All right, so we can take a look at the yellow panty. I had to remember the color. All right, here we go. It's a different kind of banana hammock because it's yellow. Oh, there's no banana. But Manuge has patterns for pouched outfits like this. If you need to make pouched underwear because you have a banana, then you can learn how to make a pouched version of the different G-strings and even a UG if you want to make something, or a merkin. You could learn how to make a pouched version to fit extra goodies. Probably the next time Mr. Snapper strips down to below his skivvies, I may make his pouched underpants so that they're very flattering and they're made to fit. You can see the little straps from the front. This is a really cute panty, right? And again, it's going to sit a little weird because I'm wearing pants, but nice open side. And this is a different kind of pattern than you might see for drawers. And this would go a little bit more into the crack, but not entirely. It sits a little bit on the butt. It's a more conservative cut, but I wanted a more conservative cut for this. And it's nice. And these, the little straps that go below the butt, again, it's over pants, so it sits just a little bit weird, but it gives a nice little framing. And in undressing on stage, if you wore something like this with the straps, you can play with the straps on the stage. And, oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. And the audience goes wild because it seems like you're going to pull something off that you're not. It's a tease. It's all a tease. Those are a few of the garments that I have made following Manuge et Tois' Patreon tips and hints as a personal subscriber. This episode is not sponsored by her, but I have learned so much by following her tutorials, and I'm very proud of the work. I'm proud of the work I've done thanks to her virtual tutelage. I highly recommend that you subscribe to her Patreon if you want to make things like this. And if you want to see my daffodil number and my waltz across Texas number, you can subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/Snapperama. The full reveal patrons get to see these different things. They can also see a little bit more sometimes because I'm a ridiculous, silly nudist and an entertainer. So you can subscribe and help support the wacky things that I do, the burlesque career, the expense of custom fabrics or fancy fabrics that I order so that I can make these things, and when I can roll the dice and try to get something from Manuge's shop in the moments that she is open before it sells out, that helps support that too. That's all I have for you today. Please like, subscribe, boop the bell for notifications, and do you subscribe to Manuge et Tois' Patreon? What have you made? I would love to hear from you. We don't have to spill secrets in the comments, but I would love to know what you made or if you came up with a really cool technique as a result of something that you studied, like, oh, well, I figured out how to put 9 straps on the panty, then I would just love to chat with you, share things. And are there any other costume Patreons that I should be aware of? I know that there are lots of cosplayers out there, which there are amazing techniques that you can learn from cosplayers. But is there anyone costume, lingerie, burlesque specific that I should know about, where I can gain even more skills and that we can share with each other? Because if you share it in the comments, then someone else may find it in the comments and go, oh, this is exactly what I was looking for. And it can help them make that green cheetah print costume. Thank you so much, and you'll see me next time. Bye.